Perspective. I'm moving closer to you. I get a bit bigger, don't I? I move away, I get a bit smaller. Okay, probably a little bit simplistic that, but really and truly, perspective is a key thing to learn, so as your images aren't always flat. You don't want to be flat, you want to be round, you want to be tall, you want to be long, you want to be short. All those things are incredibly important. So I'm going to show you now how to do that. We'll be using pencil and paper in a digital way, but you can use your own materials however you want to do it. Let's move straight on to that. Get this perspective sorted out so that you're well on your way to your next brilliant project. So here we are looking at perspective, one of the testing aspects of any kind of drawing, to be honest. And it does help to have some kind of background in areas of technical drawing, but some people can just do this. They can just do this, and I'm going to show you the most obvious aspect of perspective that is probably the principle that is taught first of all at school. Get my pencil tool here, and we'll just draw the horizon freehand. Okay, it might not be absolutely straight, it might not be absolutely horizontal, but there you are. And I am standing here looking at that horizon. That's the viewpoint. And what you'll find, you probably never thought of this, but what you can see on the horizon is visible to you at your height. It's not visible, it's different for somebody who's a foot taller than you, or a small child. Their horizon, the small child's horizon, will be much nearer than the horizon of a tall man or woman. So I do this to show you that. So what we have, I'll just take the person off there. What we have in that person's eye line, that's there, just there, where that head was, is that person's central eye line. And if you were to imagine a road, so you've got your person standing there and they're going to look down a straight road, the perspective, you have a thing called a vanishing point, it just disappears there. Next time you go out and see an enormously straight road, if you ever can, just have a look, it just disappears. Railway lines the same. You get greater challenges on this when the roads are curved, of course, but I'm really just showing you the simple perspective of a road. Normally, if we were looking down a street, we'd be a lot more wide angle like this, and then let's say this is the pavement or the sidewalk here, like this. And then you've got the buildings. Well, now, a brilliant way to construct buildings is to think of them initially, at least, as cubes. They might be rectangular cubes, might be square cubes, basically three-dimensional. So, and here's a trick. If you've got a building that, let's put one nearest to us, and we'll draw its nearest corner to us. Here it is. There's its corner. And it extends along the street a certain distance, and we'll put an upright line there. It doesn't take it all the way through, because I want to show it as how you would see it as the underdrawing. Underdrawing is so key to everything that I propose to you in these tutorials. So now here's our building, and let's say this down at the bottom left here is the ground level. It's touching where the pavement stroke sidewalk is going to be, and this line here is where it touches the ground for its full length of its base. And the building is as high as this, the top one on the left. It's that high. And what we do is we take a line from there back down to the vanishing point. And it's almost magical. You can already see this, that you've got a space here which is a face of a building, and you've already got your angles in there like this. Here's your angle. It's brought to you courtesy of your vanishing point and your horizon. Now you can do what you want from here. I'm not teaching you how to draw houses. I'm not teaching you anything like that, but just bear this in mind. Here you are, you stand here as we showed before, and you're this tall. The building's a little bit in front of you, so it's if you think of everything as a perpendicular, let's put a door on it. So let's go perpendicular the whole height of the building, because buildings are perpendicular as a rule, leaving aside certain famous ones in Italy. So there's the width of the door, and let's say that the door is this high. So you can see that mark that's appeared. Now we take a line from there down to the vanishing point. It's a much narrower angle, but it is an angle. Now you can fill that in and draw your perspective in this way. Architects and people doing technical drawing are doing this all day long. They have programs for it, computer-aided design equipment, and for all I know by now, some sort of artificial intelligence that will do it for you. But that's how that works. As you go further away, if you took the same building going further away, it will be narrower because it's further away, but your mind will do the correction on it. And if in that building it also has a front door that coincides with the same sort of height, well, you can put that front door in now because you've got the top of it there. You can see where it's going. You can see how this works. And you can do it on the tiniest things. You know, if there's a window up here, how high is the window? Well, it's that high. Take the line all the way back. Probably preferable if you're doing a technical drawing, probably preferable to use a ruler. But there you are. Now we have it, and we've got the perspective right for that window. Fairly straightforward, you might think, but for somebody who's never seen this before, it's quite revealing. Proper revelation. But what I want to show you now is something even more challenging. I'm going to draw this from the side. It's a flower pot or some sort of a pot. And it goes like this. There you go, that's a pot. It's only roughly drawn, but that would be how I would work anyway, because this would be my underdrawing. But when you draw it from the side, it's all right for illustration purposes or something that might appear on a website. You know, if you were going to draw something kind of schematic. But if you want to do a cartoon that involves a pot, it doesn't look so good when it's drawn like that. What you really want is to be able to see it as if you were a human being who's taller than a pot. The only time you'll ever see it as a round pot is if it's right, if you put your head right above it and look right down at its very center at the bottom. So here, to make this work, what we'll do, again, we're dropping perpendicular lines like this, which tell us the width, because that will never change. The width won't change at all. And now, what we have to do is create an ellipse in here, like this, inside. Work away at it with a pencil. Don't try and get it right first time. There's no prize for getting it right first time. There's only a prize for getting it right, really, I suppose, and that's just your own satisfaction. The straight parts here will still be straight, but then underneath you've got to continue the ellipse. And there's a particular feature of that I'm going to describe to you in just a moment. Then we have the pot. Now we can take these lines down, drop a perpendicular off these, and we can then go like this and meet the perpendicular. And now we know we've got to put another. If it was complete, it would be an ellipse again. It would go like this. Now what is truly key in this is that at these points here there are no corners. What it doesn't do, it does not look like this. It is a proper ellipse, like that. So with our pot here, we can take our eraser if we wish, and we can remove the part that we can't see, and we now have a perfectly good pot that we've drawn using perspective. It's not bad, is it? And when you start to realize that it has a method to it, first of all this perspective at the top, which relies upon a vanishing point, and then this perspective below, which, although it probably, if you really went into it, probably still would have vanishing points there. That's not the issue, you know. So effectively, if you draw something like a rubbish bin, you go like this. You know, the rubbish bins that appear in cartoons. You've got your ellipses, and then usually a bit battered, don't you? Because they get thrown around a bit. And then you have another ellipse down below, or a double ellipse. Without wanting to get overcomplicated, these lines, the further down you go, the more rounded they become. So the one at the top is quite a shallow ellipse, but then this one here, being beneath it and lower down to your eyesight, becomes quite rounder, and this one rounder yet, and this one even more so. But they are ellipses, always. And we should just put a handle on there just to make it look like a properly abused rubbish bin. Something like that. So there you have the basic idea of perspective in cartoons. I would suggest that you always use underdrawing to try and create this. I suppose you could get brilliant enough that you could do it all in pen or something like that. But in fact, this is the way to get it right and not be constantly screwing up your paper and throwing it away. Use some cheap paper for doing the underdrawing, and then you know, you can put some good paper over the top and use a light box, or you can use good paper in the first place, a fairly soft pencil, not a hard one, not an HB pencil or any of the H's at all. 2B would be about the hardest you should use. So, you know, use a soft pencil. That way you can erase the pencil after you've used the ink, and you don't have marks and scratches and that sort of thing left on the paper. So there you are. Now, what I would say is, this is a great moment for you to like this video. Just hit the like button underneath, because that helps to spread this around and makes everything better for everybody. Makes me very happy. Hit the subscribe button as well, and then you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch this, and hope to see you in other videos.